Cynthia Norton. I'm here at the Canistoga Greenwood Elementary School. This is my second grade classroom where I teach 17 students. This school is very special to me because when it was brand new, my kindergarten class was the first class that came through, and I stayed here all my school years and graduated from this school. Well, I'm an only child, so I didn't have any playmates living out in the country. So my parents were my students. I always had a passion for school. I went to Sunday school, so maybe that's where it came from, watching the teachers, because I wanted to be a teacher even before I went to kindergarten. So my parents were my students, and I made worksheets and different things for them to do, and then I corrected them. My dad wasn't too happy all the time to play school, but he did. And then sometimes I would play on my chalkboard and have an imaginary class, and I would stand up front and sort of pretend I was teaching to them. So I went to Empire State College, and at that time I was a teaching assistant here at the school, and I needed the courses to be given to me on the campus. So they granted a first time ever year and a half leave to a teaching assistant with intent to come back to teach here as a teacher, which I did, and I came back. And about 2 years after that, I finally got a teaching position here after going to Alfred University. One of the highlights of teaching is always seeing the expression on children's faces when they meet with success, when they've learned a lesson or we've practiced and practiced something and that finally clicks. And 2 years ago, a former student came. She was in college, and I had her in second grade, and she remembered the way I taught, and she wanted to be a teacher. So she came on her college break and shadowed me for 3 days, and now she's a first grade teacher in Virginia. Last year, another one of my former little second graders came. She's a senior this year. She's being homeschooled, but she thinks she might want to be a teacher. So she came last year and spent one day with my class, and I had her do some little small groups and some teaching and things. The most rewarding part about being a teacher to me is when I see the students meet with success. You can tell just on their face. It always doesn't have to show on paper pencil, but just their face when things are clicking in their little brains and they know they've learned the lesson really well. Well, I love the second grade because they're 7, 8 year olds basically, and they're so eager to learn. They're just sitting there listening to almost every word that you say. And usually at that age level, they're not too much of a discipline problem as sometimes the older children are. They get attitude or they might not want to do things, but I can just stand there and if they're talking or something and I just stop my teaching and they say, Miss Norton's waiting, and then they know to pay attention if they get off track. Yes, over the past 22 years, education has changed quite a lot. We used to have extra free minutes to do like extra kind of fun art projects and things, but now teaching is really intense. So I try to make all my lessons fun. That was my goal, to make learning fun for them. So it has really changed in the last years. There's more to teach and less time, so you have to be creative. If you're doing a reading story, maybe the story takes place in Alabama, well, there's your chance to bring in social studies and teach a little bit about Alabama. So you have to coordinate your lessons so they all go in together. At school, they call me the hat lady because every other Friday we have a hat day where children can bring a quarter in if they want to wear a hat, and the money goes to a local charity like the fire department or the Humane Society. And I also wear decorative pins and socks that go with my lessons. And this keeps my students motivated because they never know what I'm going to wear, so they're always anxious to come and greet me at the door in the mornings. Well, the charities for our school-wide program sort of encourages students to be a good citizen, so when they grow up, they'll want to support their local communities no matter where they live. One of the fun things we do in my classroom is we have the author of the month, and this month we're doing Dr. Seuss. So we read a variety of different Dr. Seuss books, and the children enjoy them. Sometimes they read it with a partner, or they do independent reading. along with authors. Our weekly reading story has a different author every week, so they're getting exposed to lots of different authors and genre in literature. In the fall is one of our science projects. We hatch out monarch butterflies. We get the caterpillars and we feed them the milkweed plant, and we watch them develop and go through their metamorphosis and their changes. And then we look to see if they're boys or girls, and we put it on our chart, and then we go outdoors and let them go free. This is a writing project my students did. They picked a friend that they wanted to write to because we are studying how to write letters. So they tried to think of someone that maybe lived out of state so we could get a variety of different places. And then we mail our letters, then we talk about on the map where they went to, and they're always excited, wondering when their letter's going to return. Okay, every week we have a special student that's student of the week, and that means they get show and tell every day. They can bring in family pictures and explain anything they want to about their life, or they can bring in a special game and play with the class. Okay, thank you for visiting my school, and if you happen to come on a Friday, you might see my students and I with our favorite hats on for Hat Day.